Hello, sixth graders. Today we're going to make a journal entry titled Subtracting a Negative Equals Adding a Positive. Make sure you pause to add this into your table of contents and to record the page number. And then open up to a blank page so you can put a title and your Cornell notes. This is something we looked at a little bit on Thursday and Friday, but I want to go back through and make this very clear. So we know the rule, and I'm going to write in my Cornell notes, I'm going to say the rule. And I'm just going to write this really short. So my rule is 2 negatives cancel out. Let's look specifically at why this is and kind of a way to visualize this. So on my Cornell notes, I'm going to write a question. I'm just going to say why though. It might be easy enough to remember 2 negatives cancel out, but why does that make sense when we're thinking about math? So pretend I have, I'm going to have a friend named Bob, and he has no money and he owes his friend $3. So he has less than $0. He has negative $3. He doesn't have any money for himself and he has to owe his friend $3. So he has negative $3. Well, pretend that his Aunt Marie, we'll put Marie over here, his Aunt Marie feels bad for him. And she's like, well, he doesn't even have 0. He has less than $0. So I want to help him out. And I want to take away some of that pain he has of having less than $0. So if Bob starts with negative $3 and Marie wants to take away some of that pain, she can take away that negative $3. Well, and what happens if you take away that negative 3? That should get you back to 0. So if you think about it, if you owe somebody something and you take away owing that, it'll get you back to 0. And now what's the easiest way to think about this for Marie to take away Bob's pain would be just to add 3 back on. So if Bob starts at negative 3, the easiest way for Marie to take away that pain would just be to add a 3 to get Bob back to 0. Hopefully this example makes it a little bit clearer why 2 negatives cancel out. If you can remember this rule, subtracting a negative equals adding a positive, then you will be good to go, because this explains to us why that's the case. Let's look at a couple examples, and I've run out of room. You probably haven't, so I'm going to just go ahead and go to my next page. You do not have to go to your next page if you're not ready, but you may if you want to. So I'm going to write my subtracting and negative numbers continued at the top. Subtracting negative numbers and then continued. Remember, continued, I can just do CONT with a dot. I'm going to set up my Cornell notes again. And I'm going to do one example. Let's do my first example as writing an expression that's equivalent to 2 minus 35. So what's another way I could write 2 minus 35? I want you to pause here and take a minute to think about it before I tell you the answer. See if you can write down something and then check yourself. All right, well, hopefully you've written something down. If you wrote down 2 plus negative 35, that would be an expression that is equivalent to this one above. Let's try another example. Here's another example. What would be an expression that would be equivalent to negative 0.2 minus 4.9? Pause here and take a minute to write down an expression that you would think is equivalent. Okay, hopefully you've written something down. And an expression that's equivalent would be negative 0.2 plus a negative 4.9. And let's do one more. I'm going to make an example, and I'm going to say, what's an expression equivalent to negative 7 minus negative 2.5? Pause here to try to write down your answer. Take a minute to think about it. Hopefully you've written something down, and it probably will be negative 7 plus 2.5. And when I look at it, I have two negatives that cancel out to equal a positive. This is all that we're going to write in our journal. So I'd like you to take a minute and go back and just write a summary on the bottom of your Cornell Notes page.